Good morning, students. How are you? Myself, Neema Dabi, your science teacher. Hope you all are good at home. Students, before learning the chapter, before learning the thought of the day, I will teach you something new, something interesting. All right? Let's see what we will learn something new today. So, students, we will learn about prayer. Do you know what is the meaning of prayer? Do you pray God daily? Students, prayer means a communication between a man and a God. Prayer to God is like a child conversation with Father. As you know, we all are as a child for a God, right? And when we used to pray to God, it is just like a conversation of a father and a child. It is natural for a child to ask his father, right? You know what? When we used to pray, we used to say to God, God, please, help me, or I need you, or please fulfill my dreams, or we ask for demands, all right? But this all things are okay. But first of all, we used to say lots and lots of thank you to God for a beautiful life, for amazing parents, for a wonderful family, what you have right now. All right? So, believe in the power of prayer. It is real, it is wonderful, it is amazing. So, from now onwards, try to make prayer a part of your routine, okay? And pray to God daily and say thank you daily for this amazing life. Okay, students? Now, let's see what is the thought of the day. Now, thought of the day is don't make excuse, make improvement. Here, excuse means bahana banana, which we used to do, right? When we make mistakes, we make excuses, or when we used to forget something, we make excuses. Don't make excuses, make improvement, learn from that mistake. Okay, now from now onwards, don't make any excuses, just improve yourself daily. All right, students, now we will see what is our next chapter. Students, before starting the chapter, let's see what we have done in part 1. Let's revise part 1. In part 1, we had learned what is adaptation. Adaptation means natural home of plants and animals. As we have studied, there are different kinds of plants and different kinds of animal in this planet, and they used to live in different place and in different atmosphere. So they all are different from each other. All right, the state or the process of changing suit to new situation is known as adaptation. As we all know that plants and animals are also living thing like us. They also need food, water, air, shelter to survive, right? And plant need right type of soil to grow. Okay, plants and animal live in different places. Like in this picture, you can see plants and animals live in different kinds of places. They can live in cold places, hot places, or in dry places. They also live in river, lakes, and in salty ocean. This all things we had learned in part 1. Now we will see part 2. Chapter 7, Adaptations in Plant, part 2. Let's start the chapter now. In part 2, we will study about terrestrial plants. What are terrestrial plants? And plants in deserts, plants in the hills, plants in the plains, and plants in the marshy places. Alright, let's see what is terrestrial plants. Now, terrestrial plant. What is terrestrial plant? The plant that grow on land are called terrestrial plants. Plants that grow on land are called terrestrial plants. It depends on the condition in which they grow. Alright, it is depend on the condition in which they grow. So now we will see what are the different kind of terrestrial plants. Number one is plants in deserts. Okay, the word deserts, it means that there is very little water. We know that the rains come there rarely, right? So they have very little water. So the soil of the desert is dry. But still, plants live and survive in the desert. Isn't that amazing? Water is less, still the plants survive in the desert. How? Let's see. Because the roots of the desert plants are adapted to take in whatever water is available. They used to adapt their self. The plant of the desert adapt their self to whatever the water is available, right? Plants like cactus have roots that spread out just under the surface of soil. Plants like cactus, cactus and muscat bush, this kind of plant used to grow in desert. Alright, so the plants like cactus have roots that spread out just under the surface of the soil. Now student, look at this picture. This is the picture of a tree known as muscat bush. It is also known as kikar. This tree has root that can grow down to more than 20 meter in search of water. This tree's root goes 20 meter down in the search of water. All right. Now, this is the picture of cactus. You know very well. Desert plants often have small leaves. The leaves of cactus are like sharp and spines. Yes, you know very well. The leaves of cactus are sharp and spines. This prevents loss of water from leaves. This kind of sharp spines, this, prevent the water from the leaves. The cactus store water in a thick stem. Cactus have a thick stem. They used to store water in that. When there is no rain, the cactus uses the water in its stem. जब बारिश नहीं होती है तो वो जो स्टेम में उन्होंने वाटर सेव करके रखते हैं जो कैक्टस, वो उस टाइम पे उसको यूज़ करते हैं. ओके, इंस्टेड ऑफ द लीव्स द थिक ग्रीन स्टेम ऑफ द कैक्टस मेक फूड. यस, जो दो थिक स्टेम होती है कैक्टस की, दे यूज टू मेक फूड. ऑलराइट स्टूडेंट, hope you understood plants in the desert. Let's see what's the second one. The second one is plants in the hills. Plants on hills. As we know, hills are very cold, right? That is, hill places like Uttaranchal, Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, they are very cold area. Some area also experience snowfall. As we know that in some of the area of this Uttaranchal, Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh, there is snowfall arises, right? The trees that grow here have to survive the cold and snow. Yes, the tree which used to grow in this kind of places have to face this snowfall and this cold atmosphere. Just we have learned in the desert plants that they used to face like less water, right, because they are used to have rarely rainfall. Just opposite to this, here in hill station areas they used to face snowfall and a very cold atmosphere. All right, they are usually tall and straight. See in this picture, the tree is long and straight, and it is cone in shape because they are usually tall and straight. Instead of flowers they have cones. All right, instead of flowers they have cones and are therefore called conifers. What they are called? Conifers. The cones have seed in them. Conifers have needle-like leaves that are tough and can survive the cold and snow. You know what? The conifer kind of trees have a needle-like leaves. They are very tough and they help them to survive in cold and snow. Alright, the sloping shape of trees make the snow fall off them easily. As you can see, the shape of the tree is a cone shape, right? When the snowfall arises, the snow easily fall down. That's why the maximum trees in this kind of area are in the shape of cone. The pine, spruce, cedar and fir are conifers. They do not shed all their leaves at the same time and so look green throughout the year. Therefore, they are called evergreen trees. You know what? This kind of trees, the pine, spruce, cedar and fir are conifers. Alright? They do not shed their all the leaves in the same time. वो अपनी सारी leaves उनकी shed नहीं हो जाती है same time, इसीलिए वो पूरे साल भर green रहते हैं and that's why इस type के trees को हम evergreen trees कहते हैं. Okay? Now look at this picture. This is the picture of oak tree. You know, this tree also grows in hill places. Oak, maple, birch and beech trees shed all their leaves in winter to protect themselves from cold. This kind of trees, you know how they will protect themselves from cold. You know what? They used to shed their leaves in winter to protect themselves from cold. And the new leaves grow in spring. They are called deciduous tree. और ये जो ओक, मैपल, ये जो काइंड्स ऑफ ट्रीज़ होते हैं ना, वो क्या करते हैं, अपने लीव्स को शेड कर देते हैं ड्यूरिंग विंटर टू प्रोटेक्ट देमसेल्फ फ्रॉम कोल्ड. एंड देन व्हाट दे विल डू, वो क्या होता है, फिर जब स्प्रिंग सीज़न आता है ना, तब उनमें न्यू लीव्स ग्रो होती है और उसको हम डेसिडुअस ट्री कहते हैं. ऑल राइट, आपको डिफरेंस समझ में आया व्हाट इज़ कॉनिफर्स एंड व्हाट इज़ डेसिडुअस. ऑल राइट, कॉनिफर्स जो कि एवरग्रीन ट्रीज़ कहलाते, दे डू नॉट शेड ऑल देयर लीव्स इन द सेम टाइम. दैट्स वाई दे आर ग्रीन, एवरग्रीन थ्रू आउट द ईयर. दैट्स वाई दे आर कॉल्ड एवरग्रीन ट्रीज़. और ये जो ओक, मैपल, बर्च, बीच ट्रीज़ होते हैं, वो उनमें क्या होता है, दे शेड देयर लीव्स इन द विंटर टू प्रोटेक्ट देमसेल्फ फ्रॉम कोल्ड. All right, and new leaves grow up in spring and they are known as deciduous tree. Hope you all are understanding the difference of conifers and deciduous. All right, let's see what is the third plant. So yes, our next and the third plants in plains. You know what, I can say these are the our plants. Why I am saying this? Because we go to hill station in some vacation. We used to go in desert area in some vacations, but plants in plains, we used to see this kind of plants in our daily life, in roads, in jungles and in zoos, in wherever we go, we used to see the trees, the plants in the plains. All right, that's why I'm saying these are the our plants, because we used to see this kind of plant in our daily life. All right, Trees growing in the plains have lots of spreading branches. We have spreading branches. We have seen like some banyan trees having lots of branches and all. We have seen trees like banyan, peepal, and mango grow in warmer climate of the plains. Banyan, peepal, and mango grow in the warmer climate of the plains. Many plants also grow in places that are hot and wet. Yes, many plants also grow in hot and wet places, but they used to grow in plain area only. But the atmosphere is hot or wet. Wet means always there is rainfall occurs. Teak, rubber, coconut, pepper, tea, coffee, sugarcane grow well in this type of climate. Yes, we have heard about the Kerala and the South. They used to grow tea, coffee in a lot amount, and there is the area is very wet, right? So this type of climate grows this type of plant. Some of the trees are evergreen and some are deciduous. In plants in plains also, some trees are evergreen trees and some trees are deciduous trees. The deciduous trees shed their leaves in the dry summer. In the plants in the hills, the trees, deciduous trees used to shed their leaves in the dry season, like in summer, to avoid water loss. Okay, they used to shed their leaves in the summer to avoid water loss. Now, let's see what is the fourth one. The fourth one is plants in marshy places. Marshy area of land is always wet and muddy. You have seen somewhere, the plants used to grow in the upside of the water, they are very marshy, muddy kind of plant. In places that have clay soil and plenty of water. In this kind of places, they are having lots of clay soil and plenty of water, and the water cannot drain. And इस places में हम water को drain नहीं कर सकते. The water collect in the soil and cover it. जो water होते हैं वो soil को पूरी तरीके से cover कर लेते हैं. Mangrove trees grow in such marshy and swampy places. Mangrove trees is a kind of tree, वो इस type of marshy places पे grow होता है. The root do not get air as water cover the soil, because the water cover the soil, that's why the air don't get the root. Therefore they have root that grow above the soil, as you can see in the picture, because the soil doesn't get air because of water. Therefore, they have the root that grow above the soil. Okay, these roots are called breathing root. What are breathing root? The root that grow above the soil, that are breathing root, because they need air, right? And the soil, the water cover the soil, so that's why they don't get air. That's why they have root that grow above the soil, and this kind of root is known as breathing root. Okay, students, here I had completed my part 2 of this chapter. I had enjoyed this chapter a lot. Hope you had understood this chapter and enjoyed this chapter, right, students? So here I am completing this part. Now what you have to do is, as notebook are with us, you just have to read this chapter 2 times and try to understand this chapter, and just underline the hard words of this chapter. No need to write anywhere, just underline it. Okay, so I will see you in the next period. Till then, take care, stay home, stay safe. Bye.